Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar presentation on Linetype Manager today, part of our SIM Manager suite of tools. My name is Tony Crick. I'm the Civil Product Manager here at CTC Software. Today we're going to be talking specifically about the Manager Suite and Linetype Manager. We have many other tools within that suite. If you have any questions as we go along here, go ahead and type them out and we'll get to them at the end. So thanks for joining us. Let's get started. Okay, like I said, Linetype Manager, it's one of the SIM Manager suite of tools. You can see here we have several different tools available. Today we're going to be focusing on Linetype Manager, which is in the General tab of the Manager Suite. Our Manager Suite is intended for CAD managers or Civil 3D users who are supporting a production team. Currently, it works in the last 4 versions, back to version 2019 of Civil 3D. However, we will be having an update very soon to 2024. At that time, we will be dropping support for version 2019. So why Linetype Manager? Well, custom line type creation is confusing. If you've ever done it before, it's not a fun process. And we come across these circumstances often where we need a new line type. So what do? We have to go out and hunt one down, try to bring it in from another drawing because they exist in our drawing and not in the file yet, or we have to create one. And creating a custom line type is slow. And it is trial and error, a lot of trial and error and lots of error. Make the line type, use that encrypted stuff. If you're a coder, probably no problem. But you don't really know what you're gonna get. You have to enter all that stuff, maybe copy one down that you think is gonna work, and go from there. Not too much fun. Which makes it a tedious process. Write it, bring it in, look at it, go back to the file, edit it. And so we've got a better way. We've got our Linetype Manager, which helps in the creation, and it gives you an interactive preview interface that you can see as the example on the slide shows. So you see what you're getting as you're doing it. So we can import existing lines into a custom .lin, create a .lin that you can open up a drawing. If you have a drawing that you have lines in that you want, you can go in there, open up Linetype Manager, and you can import them. On the right-hand side, you can see we've got import, selected import all. So we can bring them in to a line type file, which we will get into a little bit here, which will make it a lot easier. And then we have filters. If you have a big long list and you know something's there, you want to edit it, whatever, we can filter to look for it too, which makes hunting one down a lot easier than the native way of doing it. So with that, then we can save our line files, our LINs, to a central location. We can share them on the network. If you like, you probably have one of these that you can pull from. You would load it. You can create them, update them, and bring them back in. So we can find them, we can load them. And the best part about this tool, that it is free. So you can go and download from our website, our trial version that will be included in that version, and it will be there for free even after the trial has expired. But I'm confident if you do it, you will want these tools. So let's take a look at the live demo. Let's jump into Civil 3D real quick. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time today because this is pretty straightforward tool, but let's take a look at a drawing. So here I have just a basic drawing, one you might have. If you have an existing drawing, like I said before, you might have some line types in there that you like. Obviously, this is an example only, just to show how it works. So how do we edit a file today, a lin file today? Well, there's a number of different ways to do it. We know we can come here, we can come to the make line types, and then we can path to where our line types are, and we can open up one of these files. Oops, see, can't do that. You gotta come here, you gotta say open. Again, part of the headache. So what do we get? We get this. We get this line type file with a bunch of coded stuff in here. Not the easiest thing to work through. So AutoCAD, Autodesk, Civil 3D, they all have several different ways to get things done. So you can also do it, many of you maybe have from here, hit that, do a load, go grab it. You can come out here, go grab your files. Again, here they are. You can grab them, bring them in, and then still you got to pick through. So if you want something, you won't even know if it's there. Maybe I wanted a storm line or a sanitary. Well, it's not in here. So let me load another one. Let me look at that one. Kind of a pain. So we can come through our menu bar too, and we can go through our tools. We can do the same thing. The make line type command here. We can come through Design Center. We can go to and open any open drawing. We can grab the line types here. We can see what's there, and we can drag and drop them. But again, then they live in this drawing. So not the easiest, best way to do things, in my opinion. So we've got our Sim Manager suite and Line Type Manager. Let's open it up and see what it looks like. So right off the bat, if you don't have a file loaded, it's going to look like this. It's empty. So with that, we can start making line types from scratch, and it starts with kind of a template here to go off of, and down here you can see you get a preview of it. And so I'll get into some of these other things as we make them here and show you what that's about. So we have other things here too. We can watch helpful videos on this, and if you click on this, you'll get a link right to our YouTube channel, and this webinar, along with others that have been recorded in the past, will be available to help you out. So from here, we can just say we can start with a new one if we want, which is what we've got right here. We can open existing, we can save, we can even save as. So if we open an existing one, we can open one of these right here. And here that's that same LIN file that we pulled up before. So everything from there loads into here. Okay, that's all there. But the big difference is now we can see what these lines are better than these little kind of text, kind of, pictorial representations like you see here of what they are. So with that, then we could come in here and we could clean some of these out if we wanted to. We can delete these if you want to par one of these down to do stuff. And I talked about the filtering here. We can just start typing to see what it's going to fill in. Maybe we don't know what the description is. So this is an easy way to get through if you are using one of those files that already exist. So let's get into, I'm going to load one that I've created already. So let me just open from here and grab this one, CTC style. So do I want to save the current? No, in this case I don't, but if you did, and it would go ahead and overwrite it. So this file has a bunch of those standard ACAD LIN files, with some that have been custom made down here. I should note, well, let's get into this for a little bit. Let me show you. So if we wanted to edit this, first of all, we could go ahead and we could hit the edit button. So we hit the edit button and this shows everything that's associated with it. So we've got our text style, which comes from here. If you wanted to add, this would be how you add. And here's the text that fills in to our lines. And here's the text style. Now I should add here that you need to know what styles are in your drawing. Okay, and the shape files, same, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me delete that. So the shape files, they come from your support file path that is in your options tab, the support tab of your options. So whatever your path through, that's what you'll get. If you want to add something, you can path it to a different place. If you want to get a different shape file in here, you can grab these. And you can see when I click on one, it shows up immediately down there. So we can see what we're getting. So if you have a special, if you had maybe something for a tree, if you wanted to bring that in specifically for a shape, you could put that in your support path and be able to access it here. So with that, you need to know, like I said, you need to know what textiles you have in there. So they're from your textile manager right here. So right now we have these right here, annotative. You probably want it to be annotative. So let's just make one that we can use for our text styles specifically. So I'm going to use this one here just as a, actually let's use this one as a jumping off because I want to make it a simplex. Use simplex SHX. So I'll start with that one. So let's just call it line. Let's call it line text. We'll start there. We'll call it line text. We'll style, make it annotative. Put it at 0 so that it takes on the text height in paper space that we want it to be, that we assign it to be. And it's just that easy. So we made a style here. We can say apply. I'm going to make it current. So we have that there. So we can come back in here to line type manager. So we can come back in here to line type manager. And we can come down here. So like I said before, maybe we want existing sanitary. So here's all our existing lines. So now I don't have to go through the list and find where things are. So let's change, let's adjust this. Which one, Julie? Let's do this one, existing sanitary sewer. I see it's got the standard. I think that's one we looked at before. Let's just go ahead and edit that one. So right here, we see that that's coming in, but maybe we don't like that text style. Maybe we've got a special style, and since we created the one already, let's go ahead and right here, you need to know the name of it. So I'm going to type in line text. And if it's not in, if it's using a text style that's not in your drawing currently, it won't even display. I might have one out there I could click on to show, but you won't even get a display. So right away, you're going to know that you can still edit it and you can get that to change the text style, but you won't get a display until you give it a valid text style. So there it knows it. I don't know if you saw that change or not, but it did a little bit. So everything still looks okay with this one. Don't know that this exists in the drawing. Hopefully it doesn't. I'm going to just make it a new demo. Actually, I'll just call it demo just in case, because I want to bring it in to show you guys how we can bring it in too. So I'm going to call it demo. So this, I mean, you can rename it here, you can copy it. My recommendation would be if you have line types in there where things look okay to speed things up, to start with one of those. So down here, then we have a scale. My drawing right now is at a 20 scale. So this will show you sort of a representation of what you're going to get if you're at that scale of drawing. But this is still like the native tool. It's an iterative process. So it still might take a little trial and error if you're doing one. So from here, then we just made this a style so I can add it to my drawing. And here you get a confirmation. I don't know how that one got grabbed, but you get a confirmation of what's going to be added to your drawing. So this is added. This would say it was over it because it's already in there, so I don't need it. And so this is going to be added. So we'll just say okay, and we can leave this. It's going to ask me if I want to save it, and I am going to save it to this file. And then it's simply a matter of loading. If you had a layer, if you had a drawing, here's a sanitary right here. It's got an existing line type to it already. And we can change that to the one we just made. But right there it is. So we can assign that to that. Make that current. I'm going to come here and I'm just going to change that to that layer. Of course, this is a demo drawing, so oops, yeah, well, that's right. So there it is. So that's what we're seeing right here. So like I said, it's a slightly iterative process to get these to fall in there the way we want them to. We have another one here, but I don't know if this, we can load that in. I'll show you that here in a second. So to make this land exactly right, like I said, it's a little bit of a iterative process. And what happened to all my ribbons? Okay, unless I click something, but we got it back. So here we can see from our layering. Give me a second here to put that back in. Okay, must have hit a clean screen or something. So that sanitary line pulling in that line type now. So let's open that back up and let's just make a new one from scratch here. So did we have a storm one? Let's see. ST. So we do have this one here. That's already there. I'll just make a new one, call it storm demo. Gonna follow the same stuff as, like I said, if when you're making these, you can start with something like that, but let's just show you how we would make that new from scratch. So I'm gonna call it today, I'm calling it storm demo. And it comes with this right away. So in this case, we're gonna use the shapes, and we're just gonna allow it to start right away with this 0.75 line. If I click on that, here's where we would make that adjustment. So then we're gonna put a space in there, take a shot at what we might want that space to be. I don't remember what it showed before. I could pull that aside if I wanted to see. But let's do that. So 0.4, let's add a shape here. So we're gonna add a shape right here. It's already the zig. That was the last one that was used. Again, I showed you how these things populate at the bottom so you can see them. Lots of different shapes. And this one we can use. Let's use that zig. And okay, it's not landing in the right place, obviously. So right here, you just move it up, put it where you want it. So now we got a pretty good idea of where it's gonna go. The next step would be the size of that thing. I think that looks a little big. Probably want it closer to, say, 0.10, 0.1. And then, so our offsetting here, our X, Y, in this case, we want to move it in this direction. So that would be a negative value for our X. Let's try minus 0.2, see where that lands. Click here. Well, that got pretty close. And our Y offset, that will move it, of course, in this direction. And we want to move it, I think, let's try, just put a positive. Let's just see. So this is the iterative process that you would have to go through to, you want to move it down, so 0.1, to do it in that note file, that notepad editor. And so, like right there, you wouldn't know what way that's going exactly unless you're really experienced. That's the trial and error. But right now we can see what's happening. So let's give it a rotation. We want to spin it all the way, probably 240. So now it landed in the wrong place. So now let's go back to 0.1 and see if that puts it in a better position. Pretty good right there. I like how that looks. We don't need this space right here. And delete that off. Now that's looking pretty good, but I still don't like how that's centered right there. So we can come back in here and let's try and move it just a little bit more. Let's try by another 0.05. And that looks pretty good to me. So we can say okay again. We can go ahead and add it to the drawing. And it keeps grabbing these extra ones. Again, I don't know why, but easy enough. And it wouldn't hurt to put them in there if you want to overwrite them. So be it. So now they're in the drawing. Close it. Save it. And let's draw a line. And then let's go first put it on that layer. You know what? I'm just going to put it on 0 there. Heck with it. So let's just stick it on 0 and change that line type to see what it does. Oh, it's storing demo. There it is. There we go. So if I edit this and reverse it, it shows a different direction. So these arrows are going to drop in the direction that you drew the line. And likewise, if I add link to it from there, and I can do the same P editing to it, and I can join them up, and it's a nice symbolic polyline. And these can be used also in a survey description key set. You can add these lines too, so they come in as survey figures. So all that is taken care of there. So that's how easy it is to make a line. I think let's make one more, just have a little fun here. So what if we wanted to make, I know we use break lines a lot, and when I've created them in the past, I've used a symbol. There's a number of ways of doing it, but why not just have a line that we call a break line? So how would we do that? We'll start again with the standard. It's called BRKLN. Description will be, and again, you can add this here. For if you want kind of a cartoon representative of what it is. This isn't going to be probably anything that really looks like it. It's hard to replicate that with this sort of thing, but I'm going to put it in there. So let's start with the line here. Let's try a 0.5. So ultimately, we want it to come. We want this zig on here for the break line symbol. So then we can have a space too. Let's try I don't know, 0.3 maybe, space. And right here we want to add a shape. I don't think we need this line, so we can delete that. We can even delete that one, and let's add a shape. So let's click here. See where we can. I happen to know where this one lives because I cheated, but you might know that too. So if there's a called a genzig right there, and I'm seeing already where that's landing by the defaults. It's not quite right, but it's pretty close. Let's just slide it minus point. Let's try 0.3 again. See where that goes. So we're getting there. We're going to need another space in there. I think up and down it looks okay. Let's add a space. Now we're getting pretty close here. Space. Let's try, we started with a 0.5. Let's try 0.5. See what happens. Ooh, that looks pretty good. I like that. But it looks like we might have a slight overlap right there. So I'm gonna just give that a little bit more. See what happens. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, that's a pretty good looking line again at our representative of a 20 scale. We'd say okay. And here it is. We can add it to the drawing. And now that's the only one I got that time, for whatever reason. So okay. And let's see if this, we can put a line in there like that. Oops, it didn't close it. Current file, I'm saving it off screen. Unfortunately, you can't see that. I dragged it out there. But so let's try, so if we wanted to put a break line in here. Put that back on layer 0 and then change that line to break line. It's right there. There we go. So it looks like a pretty good break line to me. And that did not take long to create, and now it's there every time you want to add it to any of your drawings. It's in the file, and we're good to go. So I talked about we can also add existing lines. So what if none of these lines, they're all some kind of line here. The utility storm, existing sanitary storm, that's, in this case it's called new. Kind of wanted to show you too on this. There's a style in here called, or that style 1 has italics. If you wanted it to just say existing SAN in that thing, just have another style in your annotation tab up here. I think it's that style 1 uses italics, so that's assigned to it right now. Italic chicks looks like that. So it's that easy to change if you wanted to change one of them that has text on it to look like something different. If I wanted to make one of these, for instance, you know, with a italic slant to it for existing, we could do that. So let's go back to our line type manager, and I said before about making a new line style with existing lines that are in a drawing if you want to pull them in. So again, we'll just come here to the new, and I can say import selected, so I can pick them one at a time if I want to. And right away it says what's there. I'll just add it. So we already got that. And it gives you the option right here. Because it's new, it doesn't have this assigned yet how you want it to look. So this is a symbol type, so I'm going to make it relative to the line in this case. Or I can come here, and if I want all of these lines, I can say, oops, I hit the wrong button, import all. So here we go right here. Some line types have shapes that were ignored. So it doesn't know some of these shapes. And we can go in and we can fix them and pull in the shapes that we're looking for. So this is going to be kind of a long list to do. I'm not going to do them all. Well, it doesn't take that long, so I'll just show you. Let's just make them all relative to the line, just so that I can populate the line type file for you to see how this works. And again, this might take a little bit of iterative process as you put them in your drawing. They might not look right. Some might have text that you want to show up different. Some might have the symbols that you don't want it to be relative to the line and so on. So there they all are right here. And remember I said that if something was amiss, you wouldn't even get a preview, and you would know you would have to fix that. There was one to start with. I don't know which one it was, but so here we don't, oh, no, that's a dot, that's okay. But so this is what we're getting right here. It's gotta be one of these guys. But I think you get the idea here. If we had it, you could come in here. Here's that new with the italic text. We can see what that looks like over here. It says it's style 1, and we know from our annotative tab that that came with this italic style right here. So that's fine. If we wanted to change that, we could. If we wanted to make it our line text that we made before, just type it in. Typed it wrong. Hit a T. And now it knows. So there, it populated back in. So just that easy, it's done, and I can overwrite that in the drawing. I'll say okay right here. And what am I doing? New 1. So let's add that to the drawing. Okay, I can close this. You know what? I'm not gonna save it to my file. I want to do a save as, and let's call it, let's go call it for today, demo linetype manager and today's date. Save it, close it, and where's that? It's this one right here. You can see it updated already. So it's just that easy. To me, much easier than the native way of doing it. And best part about it, it's free. It saves you lots of time. So with that, that's all I want to show you guys today. Let me switch back to my PowerPoint here. So that's it for the live demo. I see I have a couple of questions. I'll get to those in a minute here. This is part, like we said before, of the CTC Sim Manager Suite. We also have the Sim Project Suite, which has a lot of other very useful tools. And again, these tools, all of our tools work, nothing proprietary. They all work within Civil 3D. So if you want to share them with another, these Linetypes work in AutoCAD, they work in Civil 3D. We have a lot of other tools that do similar things that you can share them. And if they're in the drawing, you're not going to get any errors because nothing is proprietary. So if you have a reseller and you want to inquire from them, if they haven't, contact them. Otherwise, you can go to our website at ctcsoftware.com. If you're our current users and you have any ideas or need any help, you can contact us. We'd love to hear ideas to improve, if we can, on any of our tools. And to do that, just go to the website, click on Contact Support, and fill out the form from there. So thank you again, and have a good rest of your day.